welcome to Somewhat Nerdy Radio. We are your hosts. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Welcome back, yeah. I mean, it's been a little bit longer than usual, but not too much longer.
Yeah, we did take it 2 years off.
Yeah. Well, I meant from the last time, when we kicked back off with Volume 2, we were pretty steady with everything. So this is a little bit longer, but summer, man.
Summer, end of the year. I went on vacation. Critter got older, jumped out of a plane.
It's true. Actually, I did that before I got older.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, that was I wanted to do it before I turned 40.
Critter's 40.
Yeah.
Old man.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older.
You're quite a bit older.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for the positive feedback that we had on the Never Hike Alone series.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
I actually had a few conversations with the director on Twitter. He corrected us on certain things timeline-wise, which is kind of cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But I stand by my timeline.
Yeah, I agree. He made the movie, but...
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, like, this is my timeline. If we're gonna fanfic, I'll fanfiction in my own goddamn life.
But great movies. We're really happy we were able to do the review, and we like to do a little bit more things like that, a little bit more independent projects. So it was really cool to talk to the director on Twitter and everything like that, and a lot of fan feedback too. We had a lot of people telling us other fan films to go watch on Twitter and everything like that. So definitely be checking that out. But before that, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other social media that I basically deleted from my life over the past couple months is awesome. So I highly recommend it. But if you're use social media, go share our video podcast.
What podcast?
Podcast.
Really, just tell your friends about the podcast. That's really all we want
You to do.
Yeah. I mean, we both, since we're both 40 now, social media. I like consuming social media.
Yeah.
But me participating, oh my god, man, that's a young man's game. You know,
our podcast would be so much better if we were bigger, if we were better at social media.
Oh, for sure. And what sucks is I did social media marketing for a long time, but it is tough because I did it for work and I knew how tough it was. And what sucks is like not any one thing works better than the other necessarily.
You just got to do it.
You got to continue, and we'll come up with a plan and create content. And the content creators, I don't know if you ever met like a real life person that makes a living doing content creation.
I have.
They are working 24/7. That is not me, baby. That is not me. Someone's like, hey, how would you describe Critter? Do you think he works 24/7? No,
not at all. I know you.
If I was doing content creation, it'd still be 9 to 5 with an hour and a half long lunch break for damn sure.
So on this podcast, we're going to be talking about video game movies. We're going to be ranking our favorite video game movies. Both of us. So we're each going to have a list and obviously disagree about that list. And Critter will call me stupid and downfall of nerddom because of the movies I like on my list and everything like that.
And he'll do the same to me.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Don't act like this is a one-sided bully session.
But really what brought this on is Fallout came out last month, the TV show on Amazon. And it really... Here's my interpretation. I'm going to talk about Fallout before we get into the list, just because I don't want to dedicate a whole podcast to Fallout, mostly because it would just be gushing about Fallout for, 30
Comparing
minutes.
the show to the game, because I love the show.
Oh, no. So that's the beauty of the TV show. Mm-hmm. It is the game. It is. I've never seen an adaptation of a video game to another media, movie, TV show where they just changed nothing. If it was designed in the video game, they took that design and go, okay, it's already designed for us, so we're just going to use that.
Even that cool complex storyline?
The what?
The complex storyline?
Which one?
All of them.
Yep. Yeah, that's the game. That's it. Even to the point where...
Even with the ghoul of Walter Goggins just being so cool, like she makes friends with a ghoul?
Yeah. Yeah, ghouls are a normal thing in the Fallout universe. Some of them are just like regular people, just zombified until they turn into, what do they call them? Feral.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a feral thing. The only thing that showed change was that, like, chemical they have to take to keep them from turning into a ghoul. Like, in the Fallout universe, it happens over time to ghouls. There's no, like, chemical or drug you can take that will keep you from turning into a feral. It may never happen to you, but if you get, like, more radiation, it will happen faster sometimes. But other than that, like, the show is, like, if the gun was designed already, well, they use that exact design for the TV show. I've never seen an adaptation not trying to change something to put their own spin on it. It is it's that.
I mean, I didn't play the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could have guessed that about me.
He doesn't like video games.
It's not that I don't like video games, I just don't play them. The show, first of all, anytime, anything, even if I'm not into it, especially if it's like from a show, like an anime gets turned into a TV show or whatever, I'm fucking first in line to watch that shit. It's just how I am. Like this video game, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching this. I binged it in 2 nights.
Yeah, I did too. No.
So it wasn't like something that like, oh, I'll have to get into it. I was excited for it. I put it on my watch list. I was like, oh, I didn't even like. That's the thing. I don't. The older I get, the more I realize that I don't watch trailers anymore because I feel like they just ruin things for me. All you have to say is like, hey, we got this movie coming out about a property you like. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Like the more I hear about it, it could either spoil it for me or it could be less interested. But it's like, hey, Deadpool 3's coming. I'm avoiding everything about Deadpool 3.
I watched the first trailer and that was it.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, because they're like, they got my money.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And Fallout was the same way. I was like, I've never played this game, but I'm definitely going to watch this show. No question about it.
Fallout is probably my second favorite video game series right behind Mass Effect. I love Fallout. So much so, when my oldest daughter was born, I left the hospital to go to Best Buy for the midnight release for Fallout New Vegas.
Wow.
So, I mean, they were sleeping. And I'm
sure.
Like, my wife's like, where are you going? I was like, I got a pre-order for Fallout, but it comes out tonight, so I have to go to
How did that go?
Good, she was fine.
I mean, yeah, you're still married.
I'm still married, and I have 2 other kids past that. So Fallout, I love Fallout.
After the next 2 where she's like, you about to go get another video game?
Well, no, I think the third one I went all the way to Chicago to go watch a wrestling show. So
dang, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, but Fallout, it's just one adaptation like this where it respects the source material so much where it's not doing something different from Fallout. It is now officially in the timeline of Fallout. This series officially takes place in it. So, like, you got Fallout 1, 2, 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and then Brotherhood somewhere's up in there. This officially takes place after Fallout 4.
So here's your dilemma that you're just talking about. Mm-hmm. So you just told me when I was like, this is a complex story, a lot of character development. Mm-hmm. That's not, you have The Last of Us that did that too. Mm-hmm. It's not very common for video games to be very story and character driven. It's Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Fallout is story character driven.
They wrote that was first.
Yeah.
Gameplay was second. You got to think about that. Whereas Mortal Kombat was like fighting game first, and then they're like, all right, let's make because Mortal Kombat 1 was like the most basic premise fighting game done. And then as it got, they're like, all right, let's make this up, and then they start expanding. I mean, it was an afterthought, the storyline. And the same thing with Street Fighter, same thing with every fucking video game.
Yeah, everyone. But Fallout is definitely, they figured out that storyline first, and then they built a game engine around it, especially 1 and 2, which is a completely different game.
I guess Resident Evil is an exception.
Yeah.
But again, it's not like it was super... I mean, you have the characters in Resident Evil, but it's not like you super care about the characters.
Yeah.
Like you have a guy's name, Chris Redfield, in the beginning, and you're like, okay, that's cool, but whatever. I mean, like, I'm glad that him and Leon are both like these really badass people in franchises going forward, especially for the anime stuff that they do.
Yeah, which is better than 90% of the live action stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's not even a thinkable thing. They did not. Leon is like Cyclops. Is like they could not capture him being good in a movie.
No.
And he's so good.
Yeah, he really is.
And somehow they're like, nah. But in the anime, or like, even the computer generated ones are like, we're going to make him badass. Like, okay, cool. So I totally agree. Fallout is a super... I was not lost because it, like, never playing the game. I was on board. I get it.
It's so weird, too, because they tell you enough information in the TV show, but they don't give you too much information. They give you enough information to follow. But there's so many things that, as a video game fan watching the show, going, oh, I know what they're talking about there. But they don't explain in the TV show. It's all, like, and this is spoilers, obviously, where he shows up at the end of the TV show. Mm-hmm. The dad. He's walking up to that big city. That's New Vegas. That's Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. There's a whole game based around that area. And it's my favorite game in the entire series, too. And the thing about Fallout is there's always these choices you can make in the game. And like Vegas, you can help the Brotherhood take over Las Vegas. You help the NCR take over New Vegas. You take it over yourself, or you help Mr. House. And Mr. House is the leader and owner of Robco, which is in that board meeting with all the heads of the corporations. Mr. House is the guy that's there with the mustache. He is the head of New Vegas in the future, which means he's 200 plus years old. And I don't want to like spoil anything for that. So the game, the TV show is the first time that we've seen something cross over into one of the other games, because the games are usually very specific to its area. You might hear kind of mentions about some of the other places, but you don't really know what's going on with the other places. That's way they don't step on the toes of each other's game. Mostly because there's so many choices you can make in the game, which can change the entire game. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the first time that they're going to have to write the ending to a game. Like what happened in New Vegas. So this is going to explain what your choices were in the game, and it's going to kind of write it in stone, which is not something we've seen in Fallout before. Like when you play one of the games, whatever choices you made in Boston, Fallout 4, doesn't affect the next game. You play different characters. It's a whole new set of characters. Some of the factions and stuff like that stay the same. So it's weird to kind of know that you have to watch Fallout TV show to kind of carry the story on.
I'm sure that they're probably basing it off of like the most popular storylines that people play.
I would imagine they're going to base it off of, and I don't want to ruin anything, but there's something specific that happens in New Vegas, which would be really cool on screen. And then probably the most logical thing. So,
all right, well, yeah,
Fallout's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the show. So,
well, and it inspired us to think about some of our video game adaptations of into movies. We're kind of leaving out shows because I mean, I feel like the shows are a little bit stronger usually.
Yeah.
Not always, but
not
usually.
Always. I mean, Resident Evil's being an example. So.
I didn't hate the show.
No, I actually liked it,
but it was just zombies.
Yeah, but the show got canceled, I feel, before it really even got its legs.
Yeah.
Like, it got canceled before a full season was even on TV, and they're like, we're not doing a second season. I fell off instantly when I knew there wasn't more.
I liked everything that kind of happened in the show. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like Resident Evil to me, besides just Umbrella Corporation and zombies and some dogs. But for the most part, I was kind of like, you know, once you watch all the Resident Evil movies, you're just kind of like, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter anymore.
And The Last of Us would obviously be high on that list if we were doing TV shows. It's awesome. The Last of Us, I never played the video game, but the show is amazing. So,
but starting off, I mean, I'm going to start with my number 5 spot. Now, that does not mean that it's bad, because these are our favorites.
Yeah.
And when I say favorites, let me rephrase that. It's not my favorites. I think that it's good. Like, it's independently good. It's arguably good.
If we take all other movies and we're only talking about video game movies, this is the list.
Yeah. I'd be like, and this may be my most controversial to other people, because they're going to be like, oh, you're dumb for liking that. But I love it. And it's
like my whole list.
Yeah. I'm starting off with Doom.
At a distant research facility, the final 10% of the human genome has just been discovered. And with it, all hell has broken loose. Now, a call for help has gone out.
Game time. Listen up, man. We're going in hot. If it breathes, kill it. There's something coming up behind you. It's in the sewer! What is that? We gotta go now. Evacuate! Evacuate! Sir, are you okay?
This movie came out in 2005?
It just feels like a 2005 movie.
Yeah, it is.
It was early Carl Urban. I've always been a Carl Urban fanboy.
Yeah. He's amazing in this movie.
Yeah, and this was when Rock, before he got his contract where he can't lose a fight, so he actually was cool.
So yeah, this is what year did Scorpion come out?
Around 2001, 2002.
So this had to be one of his first leading roles.
Yeah, it was.
And he was good in this movie. I love him in this movie.
He was. I kind of liked all the characters in this movie.
Even the fake Joker guy. I can't think of his name.
Oh, yeah.
He's just amazing in everything. He's just a
always
psychopath.
plays psychopath in every movie.
And he's a psychopath in this movie. He's awesome. The preacher guy that carves crosses into him. I love this movie.
I liked how they captured the first person shooting style of it.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part of this movie. Is that
but it's fun for that little. But they don't do it super long, and it was kind of fun. It was very fast.
Yeah.
And that kind of was great to like. Oh yeah, it turns out he's a superhero.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would have went more into the demon thing a little bit more, like they do with Doom. But this is a good interpretation of Doom. Yeah, I mean, it is. So.
I mean, for what you can say about Doom.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You open a portal to hell on another planet, I guess, Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that would mean that hell is an interdimensional thing and not necessarily like,
I'm sure it is in some religion out there that I don't know about. So...
This has Pinhead hell all over it, This is definitely Hellraiser type interdimensional demon shit going on.
But we got Big Fucking Gun.
Yep.
Which was awesome. We got Rock being a bad guy, which is rare because he refuses to do it now. So,
and he refuses to lose a fight.
So,
like, come on, man. People used to like you.
Man, Rock's fell off so much. Yeah. It's crazy.
You think that playing a heel for so long, that he would be like cool with it. Understand that it's important to be that.
This is coming from a wrestling fan, which is if you listen to this in a wrestling fan, you know that The Rock's back in wrestling and everything like right now.
Yep.
And he's playing a heel and everything like that. So it's weird. So he also might be an asshole, but I'm not surprised about that.
Famous? I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. I think every famous person is probably an asshole.
Probably. And the thing is, when people are surprised when a famous person's like, he didn't want to talk to me, you're like, you're a stranger. How often do you like to just talk to a random stranger?
I agree. I agree with that standpoint. Well, if I was famous, or we're famous, right?
No.
Yeah, we're famous. I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody now.
That's what I'm saying. Like right now, it's tough to be like, someone's like, like gets overly chatty with you at a cash register. You're like, I just kind of want to finish up this transaction. Don't ask me about my day. Don't talk to me about every product I'm buying. I don't care.
So I'm going to go into my number 5, and it is Mortal Kombat from 1995.
In each of us, there burns the fury of a warrior. In every generation, a few are chosen to prove it.
One of you three will decide the outcome of the tournament.
3 strangers will travel to the mystical realm of Outworld to defend our people against Shang Tsung.
You will die.
And his forces of darkness. In an ancient tournament. One more victory.
Your soul is mine.
And our world is theirs.
It has begun!
You can't run from me, Shang!
I don't need to run.
Johnny Cage, Scorpion,
Combat begins.
This one hits a lot for me. Mostly, the soundtrack was awesome. I loved the soundtrack. I had this on CD. It was a CD.
It was a CD. Yeah. I remember I bought the soundtrack. They had this. The soundtrack actually came out, I feel like, before the movie.
I think so too.
Because I remember buying it. It was all like video game characters. Like they're like they had their own songs. But this was the main song on the CD. They had this version, then a remix version, and both were just like, yeah. Oh,
but
right?
This is well acted. It's got Christopher Lambert in it. It's got Robin Shou in it that plays Liu Kang, which I think he's pretty good in everything. And just always one of those guys you see in a bunch of movies that you just don't understand why he's not more famous.
We can't just forget about the Johnny Cage Scorpion fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's iconic.
I rewatched it and I'm like, it's still really cool.
It's so pretty. It's so well shot where it doesn't really belong in the movie.
Yeah, it actually, and the thing is like this is
it kind of makes the rest of the movie look bad.
It does, but this is when they started incorporating special computer generated special effects early on with Scorpion's little hand. Sub-Zero stuff looked awesome.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I guess they CG'd it, but it also looked very practical because they did the mold after. But like Scorpion's fucking living
yeah, that's bad. But then you are totally forgetting about Reptile running around this movie, which looks awful.
Oh, so bad.
Look, I love this movie mostly because I think the storyline's really good. It's fun.
I mean, this is what happened when you develop the game and then come up with the story kind of after.
And this follows the storyline and everything like that.
It's very fine. And the fight scenes, honestly, I loved every single fight scene for the most part. I mean,
even
standouts.
the Goro and
Johnny
Cage fight, really cool just because of how they do it and how he does it. All the Liu Kang ones are really good.
Reptile Liu Kang one. I mean, I think that might be the second best one.
That one takes place in the Outworld.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Reptile, I always really like Reptile, and I hate Reptile in this movie. He's like my least favorite thing about the entire movie.
Even when he turns into the guy?
That's fine, but I want him to be the guy the entire time now, not the thing that gets sucked into a statue that magically turns into a ninja for literally no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, dude, I mean...
And Christopher Lambert as Raiden it's fucking amazing. It's way better than Dexter's dad in the second one.
Oh, I mean, the bar's not super high for that. Christopher Lambert as Raiden is just confusing to begin with.
It is.
It's a German white guy to play a fucking...
French.
Is he French?
He's Canadian French.
He's Canadian. Okay. I thought he was German for some reason.
Definitely Canadian French.
But either way, just fucking weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
To play a Japanese god? Or Chinese god? What is he?
He's Japanese. I think he's a Japanese god. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. No, he might be a Chinese god. Yeah, I think he is, actually. Yeah. Sure. It doesn't matter. He's a white guy now. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and people complain about whitewashing, and that was just bad.
But this whole entire movie, again, it's the mid-90s. The like you were saying, the graphics aren't bad, other than the terrible shit that happens in it. The storyline is good. And this brings me back to a certain point in my life where I was all about this movie.
Oh, I saw this movie in theater so many times. I mean, I did like it. It's bad. All right, I don't think it's bad. Let me tell you something. I would not recommend this to people
that never seen it.
That have never seen it.
I don't know.
And don't like the video game. I would never.
Oh, maybe yeah.
I would never recommend this to somebody that I like movies. Oh, you should watch Mortal Kombat. It would never leave my fucking mouth.
Oh, yeah.
I would never.
You're right.
I would never do that. Because I could say Doom. Do you like sci-fi action horror?
Watch Doom. Yeah. I agree with that.
Mortal Kombat is
I agree with that.
Like...
It's questionable. What's your next movie?
In my number 4 spot, I have... Now, this one is... I'm newer, but the thing is, there's a reason why I like it so much, because I thought it was going to be total dog shit. And it's Sonic from 2022.
I'm Sonic. A little blue ball of super energy in an extremely handsome package. Supersonic. And in order to save my planet, I had to come to yours. Supersonic. Where am I? What year is it? Is The Rock president?
"20 minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest.
Who's there?
Why are you hiding out in my garage?
The entire military is after me.
Good morning, my rural chum. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me where it is.
Wait, don't hurt him. Awesome. Road trip?
This can't be happening to me.
We can lay low here for a while.
So what are we gonna do now? Whoa! Let me show you how it's done. So should we get out of here?
Yeah, time to go. You think you can get away from me?
Aw, this one is cute. You've got car insurance, right?
You're about to die.
Is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Here comes the boom.
How are you not dead?
I have no idea. Let's go.
Why would you
you throw your life away for this silly little alien?
He's my friend.
Good times. This is my power.
That was an illegal left, by the way.
And I'm using it to protect my friends. Blah, 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 blah. Let me know if you want to go round 2 with the blue.
The reason you thought it was going to be dog shit is because it looked like dog shit at first.
Yes, and this is the only time that executives listen to fans, and maybe the only time ever they're like, oh, well, let's listen to the fans instead of like, no, we know better.
Yeah, that's bad. Don't do that.
And then they made him look like the fucking video game, and Ben Schwartz just cracks me up.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I mean, even in the new it's not new anymore, one of the newer versions of Ninja Turtles where he played Leonardo that didn't really encompass Leonardo. He seemed very Michelangelo-y.
Yeah.
But anyway, I still liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I mean, because I know they painted Leo as like this reluctant leader, as a more of a goofball reluctant like type of thing, which just whatever. I like the animation style. I like it. It was fun. It was a fun.
But Sonic's good. It has so much. Like, not following the video games, just take the characters, build a real world story about it, and it worked all perfect, especially with Jim Carrey and everything like that playing Robotnik.
It really helped that they went goofy with it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if they didn't make Sonic the kind of snarky character and made him like, I want to be more badass, like how you would view Sonic back in the day.
Yeah.
Like when he first came out in video games, he was so
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
And you just, instead of him being this kind of like, whatever, kind of a goofball, I don't think it would have worked as well. You know, James Marsden, so good at just acting, so good at acting with nobody.
Yeah, because that's what he does the entire movie. This also got us a sequel, which is really good.
It is good.
I like the sequel, and on top of that, I don't really care. Knuckles is my favorite Sonic character, and he's getting a whole TV show.
I watched it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Voiced by Idris Elba, which I fucking also love. So yeah, I'm all about it. I love this
apparently
movie
he was a producer on it, so he was like, "Let's do it,
Let's
baby."
do this.
Let's. I love Knuckles. I wonder if he was like, "I love Knuckles."
But yeah, no, great show. CGI looks good. And probably my favorite thing about Ugly Sonic is he showed up in the
Rescue Rangers
movie.
Brilliant.
Why?
Rescue Rangers was, I don't want to, this is a sidebar about Rescue Rangers, but that movie had no business being that good.
It shouldn't have been that good. I watched it because the kids wanted to watch it.
I thought it was going to be,
I thought it was going to be stupid.
And maybe that's my problem. When I have in my head, I think a movie's going to be dog shit, and then it's just not.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even have to be great. I will be like, oh, that's literally an Oscar-worthy movie in my mind.
But Chip and Dale, when Ugly Sonic shows up in that movie, and it's a Disney movie, it shouldn't be in the movie. How that ever got approved, and how Disney didn't have enough balls to put that in the movie theater and put it right on their streaming service because they didn't think it was going to make any money. It is so fucking good.
Oh, they were probably upset as well.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Oh man, people love this.
Yeah, it's great. All right, well, my fourth movie, and this is when Critter's really just gonna nail me to the boards. It's Double Dragon from 1994.
Wow.
Look, I will say that this movie is not like good.
Oh, it's bad. I remember watching it. It was bad, but it had Mark Dacascos.
Yep.
Who?
Terminator.
No, that's Robert Patrick.
Oh, that's Robert Patrick.
I'm talking the guy from Drive.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Yes.
And Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yes.
I mean, he did a lot of really cool action stuff. Always. So I always thought he was a great martial artist, and I watched everything he was in. So him and Robert Patrick made me watch that movie. But it's so bad, and it's dystopian future. I was like, this is nowhere in the games.
So yeah, well, that's kind of what I like about it. I don't know this. I played Double Dragon a little bit when I was younger, the original NES one. I don't know the story, so I don't really care about the story. But I like that if this wasn't called... No, it would probably still be bad. I was about to say if this wasn't called Double Dragon, maybe people would appreciate it more.
No, I think that's the only reason. That's the only
reason why we watch it.
Yeah.
But I like the practical effects. The Bobo character, Bobo. however you say it's big name, the big dude in the movie. The practical effects on that, which looks basically just like the character in the comic book. It doesn't really follow the comic book. It follows I don't know if you ever seen the original cartoon where they have
the cartoon was after.
Yeah. But it kind of is like in more a vein of that. But I don't know if that follows the video game either.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I like this movie.
Sure.
It's not good. Yeah, and this is probably more mess up on my part. Mortal Kombat should have came.
Yeah, the
here.
fact that because we're doing from your least favorite.
I'm realizing that. I'm switching this now.
No, it's too late. This is locked in, and you're stupid for thinking like this. No. But I get it. It has a lot like this. But I would say that you have to have a certain amount of nostalgia to even like this. To be honest with you.
I saw this in theaters, and I want to say I saw it was my brother and my dad took me to this, and I had some of the action figures, but I don't think it was based off the movie. It was based off the cartoon. Mm-hmm. So I was really big into this for some reason.
Well, the cartoon came out after this.
Yeah,
movie.
I know.
Okay.
It was a cartoon. I know I had the action figures from, and I don't know. This is still a movie I put on as a background movie now. A lot. I put this movie on. I've seen this movie a lot. Like, a lot. Like, and nobody should be surprised listening to this podcast that I like this movie.
I'm you surprised as much as I shouldn't be surprised every time. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna like this something so shitty, and then you surprise me every time. It's impressive.
No problem.
It's so impressive.
I live for that.
How you impress me with how terrible your taste is and stuff.
Who's the girl in the movie? She was in 902.
90210?
Yeah, that show.
It wasn't Shannon Doherty, was it?
No, it was one of the other one. Alyssa Milano. Yeah, she was in that movie. She had the short blonde hair. I was really into her at the time, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. With the short blonde hair, for some reason. She's a Milano.
It didn't matter. Like, pretty girl doesn't matter, whatever.
Being a teenager. Oh, no, wait. 94? I was 11.
You were a child. You're still
all right, let's move on from this fucking movie. What's your next one?
You're still quite a bit older than me.
I am.
In my number 3 spot, I have Resident Evil from 2002.
Deep underground, in a top secret research lab, security has been breached. A deadly virus capable of contaminating the entire world has been released.
Oh my god.
We have to get out of this building. What was that? It's the brakes!
It's okay, we're here to help. Now, an elite team has been sent in to stop it.
5 hours ago, Red Queen went homicidal.
Who's the Red Queen?
State-of-the-art artificial intelligence.
The corporation's keeping a few secrets down here.
But they have only 3 hours left before it begins infecting and mutating the whole human race.
Everyone stay calm.
You have to get out.
Don't listen to anything she says. She's a holographic representation of the Red Queen.
Maybe our only way out of here.
How is she still standing?
She isn't standing now.
No one is immune. Resident Evil.
You're all going to die down here.
Maybe the only good Resident Evil version that has come out. I will say the newest version, I really like the police station, because that was just ripped right out of the book.
All right, the scenes in the newest ones are in the video game, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
The scenes are perfect. Everything else that revolves around the new one sucks.
Oh, yeah.
So.
They did Leon so fucking wrong
yeah,
in that one. You was like, you sons of bitches.
But this movie it's good. I watch this movie pretty regularly, too. It's not good, but it's like... It's at least watchable.
Well, it's rewatchable.
It's rewatchable.
And okay, so it stands up on 2 things. If you like zombie horror, this is good. And it is before it gets super ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't even follow any game storyline up to that point. What it came out by then, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
So you had Chris Redfield and Leon and Claire and Jill, and they did not exist until the second one. So this was kind of completely independent of all that, and that's fine, because it was still an interesting story, because, I mean, like, that way you didn't know what characters were going to live and what characters were going to die, which I kind of liked. You know, one of the biggest things, especially with survival horror video games, is that you kind of know if a character is this character. First of all, you're going to put them on some kind of weird pedestal that they'll never fully live up to, and two, you know who's going to live or die.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know your main characters. It's not like a horror movie where you're like, anybody could die at any time.
Yeah.
Like, she's the main character. She's going to make it to the end. Everybody else is expendable. This movie definitely gets very convoluted with the Umbrella Corporation stuff, but not as bad as number 2, which gets super worse.
Number 2, I enjoyed, but it went from something that made sense to fucking campy as shit.
Yeah, for sure. And they got worse and campier. I've never seen all these movies.
I rewatched them recently. I'll be honest with you. Again, I don't think I could tell you the storyline of each one, because they all kind of run together. And it's side switching and a lot of weird stuff. It's not a super great franchise, to be honest with you.
And the crazy thing about this movie too is the director is Paul W.S. Anderson, which is married to
Mila Jovovich.
Yes,
yep.
And puts her in all his fucking movies. So let's put it down the list of, he did the first one, and then he's also the director of Event Horizon, surprisingly. Resident Evil, he did Alien vs. Predator, he did most of the Resident Evils, he did Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife. Oh, he did all the movies. And he also did Monster Hunter, which is another video, which I haven't seen.
With Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. So,
you know, he's hit or miss, man. Because, I mean, like, I like a lot of his movies.
I mean, look, looking at this list, Event Horizon is obviously the best movie he's ever done.
Sure, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
So, he also did Death Race.
I like Death Race.
I like that too. So.
Yeah. It was one of those movies that, like, if you were to, if this is a movie I could recommend to somebody, even if they don't like video games, I'd be like, if you like zombie movies,
it's borderline.
This is solid.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, let's be real. Most zombie movies are only okay.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I can name on one hand, and what was it, 60 years of zombie movies that are worth actually watching over and over.
One hand? Mm-hmm. I'll give you that. And because there's like 5 good ones. Mm-hmm. Like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, the original and the remake.
Oh man, you're filling up my hand fast.
Yeah, I know.
I would definitely put
Dawn of the Dead, the remake. What's the funnier ones? Not
Shaun of the Dead.
No. Oh, Shaun of the Dead probably needs to be on the list too. Night of the Living. No, it's not Night.
Return of the
Living Dead. Yeah, that whole series.
All right, maybe I take it back. 2 hands. But, I mean, I think it would definitely fit in after those.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, because then you have Train to Busan.
I forgot about Train to Busan.
I mean, like, and funny thing, we'll talk about this some other time, but I wanted to talk about a little bit about how we went through Korean horror, South Korean horror, and now we're into Hispanic horror. And it's fucking good.
So good.
It's so good.
They are cranking out so many good movies, too.
Really good. Yeah. Like, really good, really dense, really scary things.
Gory.
But not gory to a point where it's just
like
unnecessary. It's not Eli Roth type of gore porn, but it's a lot of demonic stuff.
It is, which is culturally.
But they have they had a great zombie movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just surprising.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about that on the podcast too. So down the line.
Yeah. Anyway, so Resident Evil.
And then my third movie is we don't even have to talk about it because we already talked about it. Doom. From 2005. I love this movie, as we've talked about and gushed about it earlier. Out of all the movies I'm going to talk about today, this is probably the movie I watched the most, just because it's very easy background noise. Mm-hmm. So I'll put this on all the time just to have it on. I have a whole playlist on my computer of movies that rotates through. This plays a lot. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
Action movie, cool, demons, fighting, shooting, rock, Cool. Love the movie. So
my number 2 spot surprised me because it was one of those movies I didn't realize was a video game because I watched it. I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed that. And it was from 2021, Werewolves Within.
Should have packed our snowshoes.
What? People do that?
Fun fact, not only is it the oldest, but remains one of the most effective means of traversing the ice.
Wow. Yeah, you're gonna fit right in at Beaverfield. Everything here is a little Questionable. Ranger! The people. The weather. Everything.
Oh.
Ranger? You look like you just seen a corpse.
Well, the roads are effed, and something's wrong with the generator.
Which generator?
All of them.
Can't get on the internet!
Also, there's a dead body under your porch.
Holy!
Probably a wolf.
What are you, like a wolf detective now, Marcus?
Who knows? Who? When? Who's gonna kill next?
I think we can all agree that it's unsafe outside, and there's safety in numbers. Out of curiosity, who is packing? Well, we're having a good old-fashioned sleepover.
With guns, though.
With guns, yes.
Everything about this predator is unorthodox. It's not human. It's not canine. It's one of them.
One of what? A what?
A werewolf.
How could it gotten in here? How did it get out?
Who says it got out? Maybe I'm a werewolf.
Maybe you're a werewolf. Maybe you're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. Maybe we're all werewolves.
Are we really in a Mexican standoff right now?
Baby, don't say Mexican. Just stand up.
You know, we're probably just gonna head out. Just pull it.
We got it on our own. It's just, you go ahead, please. Don't spare me.
Oh, please don't. Oh, please. Please don't.
So I have never played a game, and I've never seen this movie, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, dude. And
I own this movie, and I love werewolf movies, so I'm not sure why I've never seen them.
it is surprising to me because, first of all, I know how much you like werewolf stuff, and as do I. And there's so little werewolf shit out there. So anytime someone puts out werewolf shit, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And it's that and Frankenstein stuff. They put out like it's always B movies.
Yeah.
And so many, it's especially Frankenstein.
Yeah,
but
so many bad Frankenstein
But
movies.
they don't tackle werewolf stuff very often.
I wonder why that is.
If they did in the 80s, it was
a
big
lot of
in
80s
the 80s,
and the
and then
early 90s, kind of.
And then it just, it fell off. And this was fun. It was goofy. It was scary.
It's like a horror comedy.
It's
right?
a horror comedy,
Yeah.
but it's based on a game. And when I found that out, after watching this movie, I was like, how the fuck was this a game?
And I think the game's like a weird, like, third-person, turn-based game, too. I don't think it's, like, just even, like, a normal werewolf game.
Yeah, but it's like it has this weird whodunit, which I'm like, that brings me back to old school NES video game mentality. They didn't do that a whole lot, and today, especially newer games, I think it's a newer game, too, obviously. But they got Sam Richardson in it. That dude cracks me up. That dude, anything he's in, I'm like, it'll probably be entertaining. He's just got that kind of vibe to him that you're just kind of, he's gonna just be funny, just talking. It's that very charming, charismatic, slacker version of himself. But it's like very polite, but very, I don't know, it just cracks me up. Just surprised me, man. It was another movie, just flew under the radar.
I need to watch it. It's been on my watch list for a very long time. There's no reason I haven't seen it. Like I said, I knew it was based off a video game. I know it's a werewolf movie. I haven't watched it. Need to.
I'm disappointed in you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that's right up your alley.
I know. And like I said, I actually own them. Coming down to the wire, and my second favorite video game movie is Street Fighter from 1994.
After 7 months of fighting, the civil war in Shadaloo may have reached the turning point. The capital has just fallen.
In December 1994, the forces of freedom will face a power-mad dictator in a struggle for the fate of the world.
I'm going to kick Bison's ass.
I don't think so.
You'll have to do better than that. Okay. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
You just went down your childhood brain and picked all the movies you watched as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure. But this is yet another movie I watch a lot now. So Street Fighter is one of my favorite games of all time. I love
absolutely.
Street Fighter.
It's one of the few I'm really good at.
Yeah, and he is really good at it because he kicks my ass, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So this movie is, if somebody played a Street Fighter game and then was made to describe what kind of movie a Street Fighter game would be, it would be impossible to describe this movie. Because they didn't do a tournament fighter. They actually built a storyline around all these random characters.
Which is
and
impressive.
actually did that. Yeah, and I love that part of this movie.
It's a little, when you put it that way, it's more sophisticated than you think it should be.
For sure.
But the worst fucking casting of any goddamn movie. I don't know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Guile is kind of a slap in the face. But I love him in this movie. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth is fucking great. It's hilarious most of the time.
Wasn't he drunk the whole time?
Yeah, I think he was trashed the entire time.
I mean, the best casting in this movie, there's two people.
Yeah.
Zangief, the guy that played Zangief.
Yeah, no, he's perfect.
And then
Kylie
Minogue as Cammy.
Oh, okay, yeah, those are perfect, yeah. And this is, and I'm going to put casting on there too, as
Raul Julia?
Yeah, Raul Julia. It's his last cast, and this is his last.
Look,
thing he's
I love
ever
the
played.
guy.
He
not
may
right.
be the only. No, it wasn't right, but he played it so perfectly. He straight played this part like it was his last role.
It was his swan
He put
song,
all of his fucking energy in this movie. He is the most believable person in this entire movie because it's him.
Well, he's just a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, I'll give it to you. He acted well in it. He was him being able to beat up anybody. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was dying of cancer at the time.
No, I just mean in general.
It's the band, yeah.
Just in general. Like, if he doesn't have a sword, he ain't winning nothing.
Look, I love this movie. I think whoever came up was doing this kind of military psyop, world leader terrorist type of thing. I think it worked very well for this movie, and I think if this movie wasn't called Street Fighter
and so campy looking, it may have been
more well received.
Probably.
Like, this would probably be one of those weird action movies.
I would be more interested if they remake it pretty much exactly like that, but with
not Street Fighter characters.
Just good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that. I mean,
and it's one of the reasons why I like the movie so much. I just really think if this was just a normal 90s, early 90s action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and just take the Guile, take the Street Fighter out of it, it would just be one of those weird, campy movies. And I think more people would have a better opinion about it. But when you know
I love
Fighter,
this movie, but it's bad.
It's not bad.
It's bad.
What's bad about it?
I just told you.
That's because you're basing it on the video game now.
Absolutely.
The movie.
Well, no, because we talked about that. It's the storyline is fine, but everything, the casting's bad, the dialogue is hokey.
It's really hokey.
Costumes are just deplorable.
Yeah,
the worst casting of Ken and Ryu ever.
Yeah,
and then not only that, there's only two big things in Street Fighter, and they are the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Them two. And that's literally everything about Street Fighter.
They always market it, especially in the 90s. Guile was always Americans. Like, that's what they always showed. Like, even the cartoon, the American cartoon for Street Fighter, Guile's the main character. Ken and Ryu are barely in that TV show, which is weird.
But wasn't it about, like, Ryu was still the guy? Like, he was still I thought Guile was doing that, just gathering people to fight. And I thought Ryu was still, like...
So in the cartoon, it is...
The American cartoon.
The American cartoon, yeah.
Which is bad.
I also really like that cartoon, too.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, Guile's always what they, back in the 90s and even the early 2000s, Guile's what Japan thought that we wanted, you know, like, oh, here's the American. We also think all Americans act like this guy. Blonde hair, American tattoos, you know.
I mean, he's not totally wrong about they're not
way less guns.
I mean, he did have a sonic boom.
He did.
So, the Ken and Ryu not being the more prominent in it was
I mean, look, you cast Jean-Claude Van Damme in the mid 90s. Kind of his peak, maybe coming off of his peak. You know, it's kind of in his heyday.
Mm-hmm.
You want him to be the main character, so I understand why Guile's the main character. He's also, we know this for a fucking fact, he's not a good actor in any movie he plays in. Yeah, okay, any movie he plays in. I had to think about it. No, he's not a good actor. But we love him, mostly because of our
of course,
rosy-colored glasses from the 90s.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, nostalgia plays a huge factor in that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean,
I love that movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
So don't get all the shit talking.
Yeah.
I like it. And I think for a video, but it's another movie I would never recommend to people.
Oh, no, I recommend this movie to a lot of people.
Again, if they played Street Fighter, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if
it
they're
was just
like
a movie person, no, I probably wouldn't. Because there'd be no reason.
I mean, there's reasons.
What not to do if you're making a movie?
I mean, like, if you were like, hey, watch this Street Fighter movie. If it was good, I would tell people. Like, you should watch it. But it's just not. I mean, like, it's one of those things, if I were to rewatch it and someone saw me watching it and be like, you actually like this?
Would you be embarrassed?
I would have to defend it, and I'd be a little embarrassed about it.
I would. I'm telling everybody on a podcast right now, it's my second favorite video game movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Continue. Go.
That's true. It's true. Well, you know what? Save all your hate right now, because you can lay into me on this, because I think this really kind of changed my perception of what video game movies could be, because there's so many, like, even though I like these video game movies, it's because I'm a fan of the franchise, right? Mm-hmm. This turned into something like, if you weren't a fan of the franchise, you would still find this entertaining and like watchable. And it was Detective Pikachu in 2019.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I know, you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
Oh my God, you can understand me. Stop. I've been so lonely.
They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika!
Yeah, Pika Pika Pika. He's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your pops, I'm your best bet.
We're gonna do this. You and me.
There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope. Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops. Oh!
In my head, I saw that differently.
Solid movie.
It is solid. It doesn't follow
anything,
but when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is so Pokemon.
It is, yeah. And it's also Ryan Reynolds, which you have a more hard on for Ryan Reynolds than I do.
For sure.
But I like Ryan Reynolds. He's fine. It's whatever.
Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in most things. He has
in everything. Don't say most things.
No,
he's Ryan Reynolds in
look,
everything.
I promise you, I've watched more Ryan Reynolds movies than you, and I can name 2 movies that you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Amityville Horror.
Nope. Not even mention that.
Fuck that. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Buried and Captive.
I've never seen either one of those movies. So.
Boom. I think Captivity, I believe that actual name is. It's where his daughter got abducted.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I've never seen either one of those.
Yeah, and Buried is when he's buried. He wakes up buried in a coffin in the desert, and he has a phone. He has a little bit of range.
Cool.
But anyway, you're right.
He's Deadpool.
He plays Ryan Reynolds in everything, and he's
Ryan
fine. Reynolds is like
some of my favorite actors.
But
Keanu Reeves and all, they played themselves.
Absolutely. So. But here's the thing: it's how good the Pokemon look.
Yeah.
Like every time I saw them, I'm like, why do they look? They put their whole chest into like, I'm gonna make these guys look good.
Yeah. And it's not even that they just look good. It's all believable. The world they built and everything like that, where the Pokemon just coexist with humans and whatever like that. It's all believable. The world they built very quickly at the beginning of that movie just works really well.
Yeah. And I liked how when they got to the city where people lived with Pokemon, just like together, it's
just normal, and it doesn't seem weird either.
Yeah.
Like, why is there Pokemon like all over the place?
Yeah. I thought it was a decent movie. It was something that I could recommend to people, and I just think that it was fun, and it changed my whole perspective, especially newer. Because again, you and I grew up. Your entire fucking list is what we grew up on.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things when you look back at it, you're kind of like, ugh. For video games, people are like, have they ever made a good video game movie? You're like, yeah, I mean,
quite a few,
but.
Yeah.
Is
it my list? No, it's probably more Critters' list.
But I get, because I like every movie on your list, but they're just not good for people to be like, for a critic to be like,
That I understand. I understand that standpoint. These are my favorite movies. We said at the beginning of the podcast, this is where if all other movies didn't exist, this would be our only video. But the problem was this: some of these movies I'm talking about, especially these last 3, they're probably going to be in my list of favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these movies. And it's not, it is the rosy colored glasses of just looking back at these movies from the 90s like that. But these are movies I watch regularly.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Pikachu, I like that movie. I love that movie. I was forced to watch that with my kids. I mean, I don't care about Pokemon. I played like Red and Blue in the 90s when the game came
and those
out.
are the only 2 I played.
Yeah,
it was Red and Blue. I never played any.
I never played any.
I was like, that's too much shit for me.
Way too much.
I got all 150. One of them, I'm done.
And then my kids show me their book, and there's like 1,000 Pokemon now, and I'm like, I'm
not learning that.
I'm not learning that. I know the original 152 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And the 2
I don't even know all those.
And Mewtwo, So they made me watch this movie, which I wanted to just because of Ryan Reynolds, and it's funny, and I saw the commercials for it. But when I sat down and watched the movie, I was like, oh no, I get what they're doing. This is smart. This is a good way to do Pokemon and not do the video game necessarily, because the video game is
wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. They do the video game all the time, and that's the TV show that my kid also watches all fucking.
It's kind of funny, though.
Yeah, fine.
Because Ash, you feel like Ash is just such a dick to Misty, man.
I've seen all the original TV show. I've never seen anything past that.
Yeah.
But Ash is apparently
like once
forever.
when the Pokemon movie came out, that was kind of like it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, well, no more after that, right? And then they're like, oh no. Like,
All right, and then my number 1, and I just feel that if you listen to this podcast, you're like going through both our list, and you're like, I can almost put money on what Chris's number 1 pick is. So if you picked it, just let me know. And it is Super Mario Brothers from 1993.
Where are we? I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
They're brothers. They're plumbers.
Oh no. Mario! Luigi!
They're on the trail of a kidnapped princess and a mystical meteorite.
It's incredible!
That gives anyone who possesses it the power to rule the universe.
Get me the rock! Come and get it, lizard breath!
Now, they must rescue the princess.
Alien species escaping.
And make it safely back.
Later, alligator.
To our world.
Are you alright?
Before time runs out.
Save him! Cover! Look out, Mario! Get him! Yes!
No, stop!
Gotcha! No, not again!
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
The OG Mario movie.
This movie blew my mind when I saw it as a kid.
Me too. Look, whenever I found out, and I think it's probably one of the first trailers that got shown on TV or something along those lines. Obviously, we didn't have the internet in 1993, and I knew they were making a Mario movie. I was like, we're all Mario fans playing video games when we were younger. Everybody played Mario, but the hype behind this movie at the time,
it was
huge.
They put so much money in marketing. This and like I don't. If some of our younger listeners may not realize this, but back in the 80s and 90s, they put their money behind a couple things, and it was Batman, and for some reason Mario.
Yeah, I was
and
about to say
that was
Batman
kind of
too.
it.
Yeah.
like
Batman was the hype. I think for Batman was bigger just because the hype behind Batman, but the hype behind Mario, it was fucking everywhere.
Yeah, and there was no real strong reason why they hey, but they just went
hard. So we had crossovers, commercials, we had merchandise in McDonald's, and all the normal stuff that just really doesn't happen now.
Posters that you see everywhere. I mean, but it was like all these things that just came out before the movie. Terminator 2 had it too a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Which is weird because they tailored Terminator 2 stuff to kids. And what the fuck were they doing? But I had it all.
I had it all too.
I had
the action figures and everything.
Little kid clothes that Terminator 2 fucking shit.
But Mario is exactly what I was saying about Street Fighter. If you took Mario out of the movie and it's just about two brothers
in a dystopian future,
about
a fish out of water scenario.
A fish out of water in a society that was evolved from dinosaurs instead of primates. And that's the movie. It's such a weird sci-fi fantasy movie that I'm not exactly sure how they came to the conclusion to make that the movie. Other than the many documentaries that happened about the husband and wife team that made this movie and them being fucking psychos and everything like that. But the fact that this movie exists and you go and watch it and be like, how did they come to this conclusion to make Mario Brothers about this and do it this way?
And they had guns. That was the
bombs.
They had the Super Scope.
Yeah,
was the gun they used. Yeah,
so from the Super Nintendo. Yeah,
but what I loved about this is they ended up in some desolate desert outside of a city wall. Inside that was everywhere in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
It happened in Dredd, Judge Dredd. It happened. Oh God, so many movies of a walled city and then a desert wasteland outside of it all the time.
And I know Bob Hoskins is on record, R.I.P., about hating this movie and his experience on this movie. But he's such a perfect Mario for that time.
Oh, I don't think there could be better casting for Mario.
And even John Leguizamo, which is Spanish, not Italian.
Yeah.
So
I ain't Latin.
Yeah, it's Latin, sure. Stretch it. I thought he was perfect for Luigi. The dynamic between the Mario, Bob Hoskins being the father figure, brother, as he says, mother, father, aunt, whatever.
And I love their names, Mario, and Luigi Mario. I'm Luigi Mario. It's Mario.
How many Marios between y'all? 3. There's Mario, Luigi Mario, which all makes sense because they're the Mario brothers.
Yeah.
So, but it's things like that they knew it was kind of ridiculous, so they kind of leaned into it. But whenever they get into the dinosaur world or whatever it is,
the de-evolving too.
Yeah, well, the end of the movie is kind of more weird than the beginning of the movie, strangely enough. I actually think it should have took place all in like Dinosaur Land place, Koopa's place. The fucking Koopa's played by Dennis Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
ultimate villain, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a bad guy always. But how how bad did you lose it when they introduced Yoshi? You're like, oh shit,
Yes.
Oh,
So this would have been
shit.
right around the time the Super Mario World.
Yes,
for the
Super Nintendo
so-
first came out, yeah.
Yeah, I was all about that game. And Yoshi is a dinosaur, didn't really do much of anything other than badly walk across the ground because the puppet looked stupid. Look, I love this movie. Out of every movie, Doom I probably watched more than this movie, but this is right underneath that. And I really do, this is just like I said with Street Fighter, if this wasn't Super Mario and it's just one of those weird sci-fi fantasy movies, this would be way higher on people's list to be like, what kind of fucking movie did I watch?
This would have been one of our double feature movies.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like a weird dystopian future
why
movie.
is this a movie? Who wrote this shit?
Why did I watch this at like 2 a.m. on Showtime?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happen in the movie. Behind the scenes was the directors and everything. And Bob Hoskins went on record many times saying the only way he can show up on set is just to be drunk. So he was drunk for all the entire movie.
Man, he's a much better drunk than most people.
Yeah,
That's
that dude did good. He did great.
You couldn't tell me. You couldn't convince me that dude was drunk. Because the thing is, when people are drunk, they slur.
Yeah, no,
right?
He's good.
Solid
the whole movie.
If you mean drunk versus high on coke. Maybe
maybe he just didn't want. He was being polite.
But I mean, like apparently they re-released it with a lot of that behind-the-scenes stuff, all of the good and bad about it.
Yeah, because the husband and wife team that directed the movie, I think they quit halfway through the movie, and then they came back, and then like there was fighting, and then Bob Hoskins was threatening to shoot people on the fucking set because of how terrible it was. There's a lot that goes in. The making of this movie is more interesting.
And the movie's okay.
I love this movie. Yeah. So I officially, this is one of those movies I own on Laserdisc and I own it on VHS, the original VHS and Laserdisc. I love this.
I mean, this is a you.
Yeah, it's a me movie.
I mean, I like this movie as well.
Yeah, I know you do.
But Jesus Christ,
number one.
So weird.
This would be high on my, like, we have always talked about doing, like, our 100 favorite movies. This would be in probably my almost top 20. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's a great fucking movie.
Okay.
To serve people. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start ending the podcast. Thank you for joining us for this one. And let us know what some of your favorite video game movies are. My list is obviously better than Critters since he put all new corporate bullshit on his
I'm
list.
a shill. I'm a corporate shill.
No, but I mean, look, everything on Curtis' list other than the werewolf movie, I fucking movie.
And you'll like the werewolf
movie. Yeah,
movie
and the werewolf
when you
movie,
watch
I know I would. So yeah, let us know what movies y'all would put, or what kind of order you would put them in. Go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What are we doing on the next podcast?
The next one, we've been talking about it for a while. I'm kind of excited about it. We're going to talk about movie soundtracks.
Original songs from movie soundtracks.
Or soundtracks.
Yes.
It's just music from movies
that was made for the movie.
Yeah, not necessarily like
a song.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And actually, we wanted to talk about this on this podcast just in case you're hearing that podcast in certain places. It may sound weird in certain places. If you're listening on YouTube, you're probably not going to hear the music.
Oh, they are so strict nowadays.
Yeah, they really
it's
are.
It's kind of bullshit.
So if you normally watch the video on YouTube, because I know there are a certain amount of people that just watch this on YouTube, you're going to have to go to the SoundCloud or our website to listen to the full podcast if you want to hear the music we're talking about. So.
And which I recommend you do because it'll be fun.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So we have been your host. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
And good journey, nerds.
Good journey, nerds.